Hi there, cousin family. My name is Leal in this incarnation. I am here today to comment that we have the moon transiting Gemini. The days where the moon is transiting through here, we can be like willing to communicate, to exchange information with other people. It could emerge new ideas or this will of experimenting new things. It is also a phase where we can flow better at the time that we need to talk about how we are feeling, because the moon represents our emotional world. It is the ruler of Cancer. In fact, we have the new moon in a few days. In its domicile, in its house. So it is good to put in words what we are experimenting inside, or for writing, or to make us questions that can help us to give us direction. The quality of the questions is going to be very, very important, because the more that we are focusing them in, for example, what are the experiences showing to us, what we can learn, or what do we need, what do we need to incorporate or change to transit the path in a more fluid way, we open the field for answers that are aligned with that frequency. When the question invites to depth, it is invoking answers in that affinity of form. And the answers, could reach us in a very immediate way, or perhaps they are going to take, a passage in our path, going through a passage. So tomorrow the Sun perfects its conjunction with Jupiter in Cancer. This transit is very, very nice. It also comes accompanied of the squares with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So Jupiter possesses this energy of blessings, joy, confidence. And even though there could be many people that perhaps they are not exactly where they want to be, gratitude for the little things has affinity of form with other blessings. And I know that also there could be phases in our path where the mind in separation has difficulties to focus in what we can be grateful for, but it is a good training to practice that, because if you can be grateful for whatever thing you have now, you are going to be capable of appreciating other things, opportunities, and achievements. Because when there are, a lot of veils of negativity, they are coloring even the most prosperous situations. So Jupiter, because it is an expansive planet, can also expand a lot of things, like inner states that were operating, beliefs and perceptions that are actually creating barriers to reconnect with that confidence. Confidence, it is not about depositing hope in fantasies, but it is to remind us that that what we are experimenting is helping us to create a capacity to sustain other experiences in greater light. So if you think about it, even the bath many times, could be very painful. Let's not lie. um, Life is actually very, very loving, because it is preparing us in time and in form to go through, to tolerate those transformations, so we can expand ourselves and generate that void that can receive more light. The light is traduced in other experiences, in other levels. So what occurs, it is that for some people right now, through what we are experimenting as a collective, they could feel this in a very accelerated way with a lot of changes. For other people, they could experiment it in a very slow, in a very slow way. So this depends on what we need, what each of us need. So in some way, in each rhythm, everybody in their process, we are invited to follow the pulse of the earth. Even there could be people that choose to transcend, to do their process transcending in a different tempo, and this term that we use in music. So coming back to the squares with Jupiter and Saturn and Neptune, beyond what I have commented the last 2 weeks, it is important to see this beginning of a cycle that represents the new moon as as the passage that leads us to where the soul wants to really go, to the most elevated desires and dreams that we have. Some people have to free themselves from expectations in order to connect with them. Or some people have to leave immediate benefits that are not always very beneficial to be able to create a growth in a much more solid way in the long term. I gave this example already, but for example, if there is a relationship that cannot accompany this phase, it is about letting go of the illusion of sustaining that, or that that thing can work out according to what the mind desires, when internally it is not feeling aligned with us. To open the field to other connections that can really represent that nutrition. Or for other people, could be taking an opportunity of learning something new or developing something that it is going to take time, so they can have tools to approach their mission, their purpose. And I really believe that is part of the path of growing, to deal with this. I mean, depositing our happiness in results, situations, and people, external things, with the illusion that once we get there, that finally is going to free us from all of our imbalances. Only to understand that it never works that way. So the more we practice coming back to responsibility of our choices in the present moment, in what we need to allow to allow ourselves to do, and in what we need to put a boundary because it is not a constructing, there is when we are assuming the authority and the leadership of our path. And this has many, many layers and levels of depth. And I think that we move forward through that path only to understand something very, very simple. And it is that plenitude is something that we can choose to connect in this present moment. But it is also part of the learning not being there, and learning to be aware of what is separating us from that nature of the soul. And with this, I am not saying that we have to live disassociated of what is happening on the outside. In fact, the external things, they can be a breach of peace, joy, and happiness. There could be many, many situations that are actually connecting us with that in a genuine way. With our mission, with our projects, and especially with other souls, the souls of other people, when we reconnect with our essence in connections with others and vice versa. Because people are not only there to show us unconscious patterns, that is also a very loving way of life, to reflect the light that we have decided to bring to the body with our inner labor. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.